Greetings, bushcrafters, and welcome back to West Texas Bushcraft. So, I've been chatting with Bushcraft Geek via PMs, and that's a pretty cool dude, and he's got some good ideas. Plus, he was also asking me about some more budget stuff, more along the lines of packs, because packs are expensive. Packs, you can really dump a bunch of money in them, and I mean, whenever I made the Los Bastardo that you saw in the winter pack video, man, I dumped a bunch of money just in materials on that because leather ain't cheap. So I'm always hesitant on kind of taking it out, just simply because I know how much money I spent on it. I know the thing's going to last. It's not a problem, but it's kind of heavy. I was going to make a new one out of a lighter grade leather, but I decided not to, especially after talking to Bushcraft Geek. So what we've been talking about is budget packs. And I told him of one that I scored about a year ago at Hobby Lobby for $9. This is it. It is just a plain Jane open top, gathered end on the top canvas ruck. That's all it is. You can find one at your own Hobby Lobby. It's in some girly section, and you can't miss it. It's got a really cute paint tag on it. It says "Me and my bag." But I spotted that thing trying to find leather stuff, and for $9, I thought, man, I have to do that. And of course, I got it before I did any kind of YouTube stuff, but I made some mods to it. I thought, well, that canvas, it's good and rugged. I can take it out, drag it through the mesquite thorns, the cactus, the dirt, the rocks. Canvas holds up great. It's just as good as leather in my opinion, and much lighter. But you know, it just had simple cotton webbing for straps, and I was like, well, that's the first thing I'll have to mod. So I did. I went down to the local army surplus and got some real heavy duty cotton webbing. I mean, that stuff is hell for stout. In fact, the belt I'm wearing today is made out of the same stuff. So all I did was just cut some of that and stitch it on there. And I didn't even have to dress out the ends because for one, I mean, it's very stiff. And when I put it on, it has good weight distribution on my shoulders. The other mod, of course, is just a simple American flag patch. And the third mod, you guys probably just got done watching the waterproofing the Superfly tarp. Well, that same mix, that silicone mix, the leftover batch I had from doing that tarp, I gave this thing a bath in it. So now this thing is waterproof. So the mods that I need to do to this, of course, is this front pocket. There is no flap over the top, so junk's going to get in there. Whatever I put in there may bounce out if I have to run, so that needs a flap over the top. So I'm going to do that. Second of all, the top, even though you have the drawstring closure, it is still open. If it rains, stuff's going to get in there. So I'm going to go right along the back side of it and stitch a flap over here that will cover this top section. So that way, when I open it and get my stuff out, and when I close it, I can put the flap over the top of it, and rain won't get in there quite as easily. So the next thing I'm going to do after I do that is on the sides here, I'm going to take a little bit of cotton webbing to go along with my theme here. This is some pretty decent stuff. It will do the trick. And I'm going to put a little loop here and then one down here a little bit further. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side, and then I'm going to do two of them on the bottom. So that way I can attach. I prefer not to have so many pockets on my pack because I want them to be modular. I want them to do whatever I want to do with them, whatever season I'm in. I want it a good all-around pack. That way I can customize it to my needs on the fly. So by putting the tie downs on the sides, I can strap bags to the side. I could strap a cook kit, I can strap an axe, I can strap a machete on there, whatever I wanted on both sides. And in this case, I'm probably going to use it for a quiver that I'm going to make for my arrows and my bow. And on the bottom side, of course, that's where people would normally put a bedroll or whatever. That's where I like to put all my hammock insulation. And so that's going to be the idea for that down there on the bottom. So, I've got the good old thread injector here. The good old thread injector here. I'm going to use that. Part of it I'm going to have to hand stitch because this is already a pre-made bag. If I was making this myself, I'd stitch those loops on the bottom of this first, and I'm not going to be able to cram all that underneath that thread injector, so I'll have to hand stitch those on there. Oh boy! But I would show you as I'm doing this, but that's going to make for a boring video, and you know me, I want my stuff to be somewhat exciting and entertaining. So I'm going to do the mods, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. It's really fairly self-explanatory. You fold the edges over, you stitch them, and then you stitch it on. It's really what it comes down to. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you the end product. Alright. Stitched the top flap on last night, along with the flap over the pocket. Right there. So, those were done with the old thread injector. Looks like everything else is going to have to be hand stitched because the bag's already been put together. I can't get it all in there, crammed underneath all the little foot and needle and all that junk. So, as you can see here, I've already started working on my stitch, and I've already altered my original plan. So I'm going to carry on with that and then show you what I got. Alright, so the pack is done. For what I'm going to do for it on this round, it's done. So, here it is. Yeah, much better. Let me show you what we've done here. Let me get all the stuff off. Well, show you with the stuff on. Here, you can see I've added some webbing on both sides. Goes from top to bottom, and it's just cotton webbing. I figured we'd go with the whole theme of canvas here. So I've added that with a Molly style stitching. It's double stitched at the top and bottom, and then stitches across the middle there, so that way I can tie whatever I want to on the thing. Same thing on the other side. Multi-purpose cook kit. And what I like about that is on the back of that I actually put that so it fits right in between. So it's even more secure than it was on Los Bastardo. So that's that addition. Put some of those on the bottom as well. So now I can tie bedrolls to it. Now what I've done up here, you can see the flap is stitched right on. And this will probably call for modification later. I may put some of the Molly type webbing on the front, but then again I may put a big pocket just specifically for my Emberlit stove. That way it has a place to live. And I may even put a second layer on it just for putting maps in, because I'm going to waterproof it when I'm done. I'm going to finish. Now I have to waterproof the new additions. So what I took here is just some standard larger bone beads and just sewed them to it. And they fasten with that. A little bit of shock cord stitched right on the corners of these. And hand stitched. I wound up having to hand stitch all this stuff. Once I got this and the flap here on with the thread injector, wow, there's just no way I was going to be able to cram this whole thing underneath there to get all that on there. So all the stuff on the sides and the bottom is all hand stitched. And these I hand stitched on here as well. That's just a simple figure 8 pattern. I start from one end and then just loop it over and under, just like that. And made sure I pull it tight so it's got nice tug on it, and it stretches a little bit so that way it'll kind of conform with the pack. However much I put in there, I can at least get it down to my button here just by stretching it and popping it right over the bead. So I've done that on both sides. And in the front pocket is done the exact same way. Right there. Small little bone beads. Just loop stitched over. Now the flat has the exact same thing for the fasteners. Same figure 8 stitch. Front and back, or top and bottom, however you want to call that, but that was it definitely required 2 anchor points on that. So now, even if this pocket gets filled up, I can just stretch it over with the shock cord and just pop it right on there. So another thing I did is I took off that goofy little rope and put some useful paracord on there. 550 paracord with a lock, or whatever you call these things. I forget what they're called. So now I can get inside. So all I've done here is just fill it up with random stuff just to be able to fill the pack out. And what did I have in there? Just in case you're curious of the size of this, what it'll hold: an inflatable bedroll, the Superfly tarp, Warbonnet Blackbird, and even the DIY tablecloth hammock. All of that was in that pack, and that's it. So it had some pretty decent weight to it, and it also held up nicely. So I'm happy with that. Like I said, the flap may get a second layer for maps with a Velcro closure up here. Probably will get a pocket on the top at some point, and maybe some MOLLE webbing down here as well. I haven't quite decided. I'll find out for sure exactly what I want to do with it else once I take it out. So probably my next excursion, instead of taking out the winter pack that I showed you previously, I may take this out just simply to test it and see what all I can take out there and how useful it'll be. But then again too, I've got requests to go out there and do my own Survivor Man type episodes, so I won't need much of anything. So there you have it. $9 pack from Hobby Lobby. And probably, most people probably already have threads, so you don't have to buy that. If you do, thread's what, $2.50, $3. And the thread I used on the MOLLE webbing and on these loops here was upholstery grade, so it was a little bit more expensive, and I've had that sitting around for a while. I wanted to use something good and tough for those because I knew they were going to be bearing a lot of weight. And as far as the flaps, you know, for the pockets and the covers, yeah, just standard old thread. But so I got this webbing at local fabric shop, about $1/4 a yard. It costs about the same as cheap rope, and used probably about 2 yards on it. I'm sorry, it was $1/4 foot. So 3 feet, there you go, $1.50, $2 for webbing, a couple bucks for a spool of thread. This stuff here, that's probably about $1. So you're looking at about a $4 upgrade. That's about it. So altogether, 13 bucks, you got a pack that'll last you a good long time. Maybe a possible other mod too is to change out the strap setup here where these straps may be removable. I don't know. we'll see. But there's another idea. Containers are great. Your backpack's probably your most important container aside from a metal water bottle. So, hey, if you can get out on the cheap, that's awesome. So I hope you guys come up with some more ideas. Don't forget to send in requests. And also don't forget to go check out the guy that asked for this video. As for all of them. So until then, you guys go get dirty, but have fun and be safe. And I'll catch you later. See ya.